Hello, today we delve into the unspoken language of human biology. Consider the tragedy of missed opportunity. There is nothing more haunting for a man than the realization, years later, that the door was wide open, but he simply didn't see it. This blindness isn't just about missing a date. It is about missing a profound biological connection. When a woman is in a state of high physical arousal, what the internet colloquially terms as being W3T, her body is not under her conscious control. She enters a state governed by the autonomic nervous system. This is raw, primal, and involuntary. If you are looking for polite social cues, you will miss the truth. We are here to decode the physiological signals that scream attraction even when her words remain silent. To understand this, you must first understand that high arousal triggers the sympathetic nervous system, releasing a cascade of norepinephrine and dopamine. This is not just liking someone, this is a biological imperative to mate. Let us begin with the first and most undeniable sign, ocular mydriasis and the bedroom eyes phenomenon. Most men look at the eyes, but they do not look into them. When a woman is physically aroused, her brain releases a surge of dopamine. This chemical reaction forces the pupils to dilate, expanding to take in more light and more visual data of the target, you. This is known as mydriasis. It is an evolutionary adaptation. She is biologically programmed to see you clearer. But it goes deeper. You will notice the eyelids become heavy. This is not sleepiness. This is the relaxation of the levator palpebrae superioris muscles due to a rush of pleasure hormones. This combination, dilated black pupils surrounded by relaxed heavy lids, creates that distinct sultry look often called bedroom eyes. If you see her blinking rate slow down significantly while maintaining this gaze, her body is signaling a desire to sync her internal rhythm with yours. She's not just looking at you, she's biologically fixating on you as a partner. This leads us directly to the second sign, which is physiological and impossible to fake: vasodilation and the sex flush. When a woman enters a state of high arousal, her heart rate increases, pumping oxygenated blood to the surface of the skin and to specific erogenous zones. This process is called vasodilation. In a social setting, you might misinterpret this as her being warm or embarrassed, but you must look closer. Observe the chest, the neck, and the cheeks. A subtle reddish or pinkish hue will appear. This is the sex flush. It indicates that her core body temperature is rising in preparation for physical intimacy. Her skin becomes more sensitive to the touch because the nerve endings are being flooded with blood. If you notice she suddenly feels hot or adjusts her clothing to cool down her neck area while engaging with you, it is a sign of internal heating caused by attraction. This is the body preparing itself for contact. Now, we must address the third sign in this initial phase, the alteration of breath and voice. Arousal changes breathing patterns. It shifts from deep diaphragmatic breathing to shallower upper chest breathing. This happens because the anticipation of intimacy mimics the body's excitement response. You will notice her chest rising and falling more visibly. This change in breath directly impacts the vocal cords. When a woman is highly attracted and physically prepared, her voice will often drop in pitch. It becomes softer, slightly raspier, or breathy. This is not an affectation, it is a physiological result of the vocal cords relaxing and the breath becoming shallower. Evolutionarily, a lower, breathy voice is associated with submission and intimacy. It forces you to lean in closer to hear her, closing the physical gap between you. If her voice shifts from loud and sharp to soft and slow, she is unconsciously inviting you into her personal space. We move deeper now into the signals that bypass the conscious mind entirely. If the eyes and the breath are the introduction, these next signs are the negotiation of the body. The fourth sign is the exposure of vital points, specifically the jugular. In the animal kingdom, exposing the neck is the ultimate sign of trust and submission. It is showing the kill zone to a predator or a mate. When a woman is physically aroused by a man, her limbic system, the emotional center of the brain, signals safety and desire. You will observe her tilting her head to the side, exposing the curvature of her neck. She may absent-mindedly stroke this area or pull her hair back to reveal it. This is not accidental. By exposing the neck, she is releasing pheromones from the glands located near the ears and jawline, chemically signaling her availability to you. Furthermore, the skin on the neck is highly erogenous. By exposing it, her body is literally asking for stimulation. If she does this while maintaining eye contact, she is subconsciously daring you to bridge the gap. This brings us to the fifth sign, a phenomenon known in psychology as displacement activity and automanipulation. When the body is flooded with sexual energy, that energy must go somewhere. If she cannot touch you yet, she will touch herself or objects around her. This is autoerotic signaling. Watch her hands. Is she tracing the rim of her glass? Is she playing with a straw, a necklace, or the stem of a wine glass? This is not boredom. This is displaced desire. More importantly, observe if she touches her own body, grazing her collarbone, smoothing her thigh, or touching her lips. The lips are physically linked to the same part of the somatosensory cortex as the genitals. When she touches her lips, she is subconsciously stimulating the neural pathways associated with intimacy. She is demonstrating to you and to herself where she wants to be touched. Now we must discuss the sixth sign, which is perhaps the most direct physical indicator of the state you call W3T, the seat shift and pelvic restlessness. We discussed vasodilation earlier, the rush of blood. When this blood flow concentrates in the pelvic region, it creates a sensation of fullness, heat, and extreme sensitivity. This makes sitting still in one position physically difficult. You will notice her shifting in her seat, crossing and uncrossing her legs, or arching her back slightly, a posture known as lordosis behavior in evolutionary biology. She is trying to alleviate the tension building in her body. This restlessness is a sign that her body is physically preparing for the act of mating. If she is constantly adjusting her position while focused on you, it is because her body is screaming for a release that conversation alone cannot provide. Before we proceed to the final, most definitive signs that seal this biological contract, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. You do not want to miss the final analysis, as the last sign is the one that most men completely ignore until it is too late. The seventh sign involves the invasion of proxemics. Every human has a personal space bubble, usually extending about 18 inches from the body. Entry into this zone is reserved for threats or intimates. When a woman is aroused, her desire for dopamine overrides her social boundary protocols. She will find reasons to enter your space. It might be leaning in to hear you, placing a phone near you, or accidentally brushing her arm against yours. This is a test. She is testing your reaction to her physical presence. This is driven by oxytocin, the bonding hormone. If she lingers in your personal space without pulling back, her body has already accepted you as a partner. She is waiting for you to escalate. We arrive now at the final stages of the biological sequence. If the previous signs were invitations, these last two are demands. The eighth sign is limbic synchrony and mirroring. You may have heard of mirroring, where someone copies your movements. But true, high-level arousal creates something deeper, interactional synchrony. This is not a conscious decision to copy you. It is a neurological alignment. When a woman is deeply aroused by you, her mirror neurons, cells in the brain that fire both when acting and when observing action, go into overdrive. Watch closely. If you lean back, she leans back. If you take a sip of your drink, she instinctively reaches for hers within seconds. But look deeper. Look at her breathing rate. Is it matching yours? This synchronization indicates that her nervous system is attempting to couple with yours. She is no longer a separate entity in the interaction. She is trying to become one unit with you. It is a sign of profound comfort and high sexual receptivity. She is signaling that she is safe with you and ready to follow your lead. Finally, the ninth and most definitive sign, the parting of the lips and oral receptivity. This is the ultimate physiological giveaway. When the sympathetic nervous system is fully engaged in arousal, facial muscles relax completely. The jaw loosens. As a result, her mouth will slightly open, the lips will part. This is involuntary. It serves a biological function to facilitate greater intake of oxygen for the accelerated heart rate we discussed earlier. But symbolically and evolutionarily, an open mouth signals openness elsewhere. You may also notice her licking her lips or biting the lower lip. While often cliché in movies, in reality, this happens because the heavy breathing associated with arousal dries out the mucosal membranes. She is hydrating them. If she is looking at your mouth while her own lips are parted and glistening, the biological code is complete. There is no ambiguity left. The gates are open. To ignore these signs is to reject reality. Evolution has spent millions of years refining this language. It does not use words because words can be deceptive. The body cannot lie. The dilated pupils, the flush of the skin, the exposure of the neck, the restlessness of the hips, these are not random tics. They are the loud, desperate language of desire. Many men walk through life blind. They wait for a written invitation that never comes, while the woman in front of them is screaming for contact with every fiber of her biology. Do not be the man who realizes the truth 5 years too late, staring at a ceiling, haunted by the what if. When you see these signs, you are not guessing. You are witnessing the raw, unfiltered truth of human attraction. The window of opportunity is brief. Biology is efficient. It does not wait for the hesitant. Recognize the code, respect the signal, and act. If you wish to truly understand the depths of human psychology and the biological imperatives that drive us, subscribe to this channel. We do not deal in surface-level advice here. We decode the human experience.